good? Back with another episode of the Major Music Lounge podcast. It's D Dot. Today we're actually going to talk to Ruqone and Ezekiel the Prophet, who's going to come on and talk about their new project, The North Star, some of the performances they've been doing, and more. They're based out of Chicago, and they've been on the show before, so check out some of their previous episodes as well. And if this is your first time tuning into the Major Music Lounge, I like to talk to independent music creators, producers, sound designers, music production app developers, or if you are a content creator that is an artist or producer, would love to have you on the show. You could actually follow me on Instagram at d._major music. Same thing on TikTok. And if you use Threads, I'm on there as well. On X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, you can actually follow me on there at d.mme. Now let's go ahead and get into it. I'd like to welcome everybody to another edition of the Major Music Lounge podcast, joined by Ezekiel the Prophet and Ruqone, straight out of Chi-Town. What's good, fellas?
Yo, what's up? What's
Yo, what's
good?
up,
What's
man?
good?
What's
Oh
going on?
man, definitely a pleasure to have you guys on the show again. I think for you, Ezekiel, it's your second time. Then Ruqone, I think it's like what, maybe number 3 or 4, maybe even.
About 3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man. And it's always good whenever we connect and just chop it up about some of the things that you guys are doing. And I've been keeping up as well, aside, Ezekiel with some of your projects, Ruqone with some of your projects. We obviously have at a different speed, and we got another project coming in a couple of months as well. But
hmm
what have y'all both been up to? Start off, I guess, with you, Ezekiel.
Man, I just been working on this North Star album, you know what I'm saying? With Farouk and yeah, man, just getting all the stuff ready for it, the merch, trying to promote it and you know what I'm saying? Just trying to get it all together so we can have a solid release date. And
Yeah,
yeah, man, that's what I've been on right now. I mean, plotting on the next release, but I mean, I'm a chill on that for now. I just want to really let this one marinate first.
yeah, man. I've been seeing it, everything from the merch to some of the performances. And didn't you also shoot a video recently as well?
Yeah, man. For Surviving the Jungle, I'm still waiting on that to come through. Shout out to Jasmine. And yeah, man, we're gonna, have that out by the time the album's released, I hope. And then, we're also gonna be working on other videos throughout this year for the you know what I'm saying? Because yeah, man, this album's full of bangers, man. And we gotta have some visuals for them. So I do want to drop some more videos for that this year.
Yeah, yeah. Is this like gonna be like your first videos like all together, or have you had
I,
anything prior?
I, I I've had videos before, you know what I'm saying? I've had videos done. But like what's different about this time around is that I'm gonna have more videos for one project, you know what I'm saying, within itself. And yeah, man, I got crazy ideas for these videos. I don't want to say too much right now, but you know what I'm saying? But for sure, like definitely gonna be hitting my fans and the audience, you know what I'm saying, with more visuals than
Yeah,
before.
yeah. Definitely can't wait to see that. Definitely can't wait to see it. Ruqone, man, what about yourself? What have you been up to? I mean, we
Oh
talk
man,
a
kind
little,
of
yeah.
kind of pretty much the same as what the prophet, saying, we have been kind of laser focused, on this North Star project. And man, I've been telling him that, I was at a point, earlier in the year where I was trying to like avoid listening to it after it was actually mixed and mastered finally because I didn't want to, get too hyped up about it. But now that, the time is here, I'm just as geeked, if not more than my man, so I'm really excited about having it available like in a multitude of ways for people to get to, what I'm saying, with the streaming, with Bandcamp and streaming and, the physical copies of things. So, man, this is great. I really had fun, doing this. It was a nice, lengthy project as far as time to create it, and with the amount of songs. So, I was really
Yeah,
excited about that.
when did you start working on like a lot of instrumentals for it? Like, let me ask you this question because working with us both, me and Ezekiel, like, and I know you kind of explain that process, but like, um, how is it, or explain your process in terms of like going through samples and then creating your beats, like how do you decide, okay, I'm gonna give this beat to Dot, I'm gonna give this beat to Ezekiel? Like, what's your process?
Well, I kind of have figured out, just through the course of working with you both, like you guys, each have your own individual sounds. And I know like one particular sound would work for one of you, where the other one probably wouldn't go. I really wouldn't send a certain type of beat to the other. So, like I'm giving the prophet, what I mean, I'm giving him more um now I won't say traditional boom bap, but more in the sense of I guess beats per minute. You know what I mean? I'm more likely to send him one of those, whereas, you kind of more of a slow flow. So I'm more likely to send you like something in like the 130 to 140 area double time, or like, 75-ish, you know what I mean? So but also as far as like with the samples though, um I think it's more of drum selection, depending on who's going to get the beat. Like certain drum sounds and drum patterns will dictate probably once I hear it, because the samples are going to be pretty much the same. I sample rock, soul, jazz pretty much. And, I've been dabbling with some, Christian stuff lately, gospel. But that's pretty much like the big three right there. So everybody's getting those, whoever I work with, getting those type of sounds, you know what I'm saying? But the drums are really going to dictate, or lack thereof for drums, because we got a joint on this album that doesn't have any drums. It's a rework beat from a single that we put out that doesn't have any drums at all. So, and then I think I've hit you with a couple of drumless joints too.
Yeah,
So,
I was just about to say that, like, because
yeah,
there are times when I'm creating and like I think about some of the joints you send me, and I want to say like it makes me think about, do I want to add drums to this track, or do I want to keep it without drums? And I want to try that more often, but I like, how you send those joints that don't have drums. Just kind of like I think in fact Out of Place, I don't believe that one had any drums on it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so uh yeah, that was kind of smooth, man. Um Now Ezekiel, I got a chance to, really this for both of y'all, but I got a chance to listen to the project. I hit you up this morning. I wanted to listen to it while I was in the gym. And
Mm,
I got your kind of like Ruqone was saying, that boom bap vibe, but a lot of it, especially like that Watch Your Step, that had that Wu-Tang like vibe to it.
Yeah, I
And
love that one.
yeah, yeah. Tell us a little bit now about the joints before the album. Did y'all collab on the concepts, or did Rook One send a pack and you just got to work? Like, how did you start to think about the concepts for each song?
Man, he just sends me like the beats and stuff, and yeah, I just go to work, man. Like, it's really like organic how I do it. Whatever the beats giving me, like, whatever the vibe, the beats, what's it called? Sending off, I feed off of it, and then I create to that vibe. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really, yeah. It's like we never really have a concept, and if anybody tries to give me a concept, it doesn't always work because like the beat tells me concept says one thing, the beat says another, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I just go with however the vibe is, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to like, like plan ahead of on it. I just kind of just go with the flow, really.
yeah,
And as far as the album, man, he just sent me a whole bunch of beats, you know what I'm saying, over I think it took us about a year to make. And I rapped over a whole bunch of them, and some of them like were like better than others, and we just started really selecting. And really, what helped me put the album together really was the skits, man. I don't know if you heard the
yeah.
skits,
I heard some of the
but that
skits.
we had, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like those were like missing pieces to the puzzle. And thanks to those skits, we had to restructure the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? And we had to cut like a few songs, and you know what I'm saying? Farouk went harder on the beats and that went harder on the bars. And you know what I'm saying? There you go. North Star, man. You know?
Yeah, yeah, man. It was fire, straight through. I like the whole thing, and some of my favorite tracks, Rep the Society,
Uh
Cold World, shout out to Miss Outlaw. I
yeah,
really
shout out
like
to
what
Miss
she did
Outlaw.
on that. And I like the whole album. When does it come out now?
April 26th.
Okay, April 26th on all streaming platforms and
Yes, sir.
Bandcamp. And then Ruqone, man, that Watch You Step, I mean, you had to possibly be inspired or listening to some Wu-Tang before you created that, because I felt like that was like 1992 36 Chambers, like what was your inspiration behind that beat?
Well, that beat and the whole album in general, man, is like the definition of a collaborative effort because those drops in there, my man added those, the
Yeah,
Prophet.
I
So,
added the Inspector Deck
Yeah.
joint on there. You know what I'm saying? To
but
me,
but
like that, the beat spoke that, the 36 chambers. So I had to add that on there.
but that beat, man, I love the whispers, man. I was listening to I sometimes when I go buy records, like I think I went to the swap meet. We got a thing around here called swap meet, and I just went. It's called Swaparama actually, and I went up there. This guy has like a big old tub of records, and like he had like four Whispers records in there. I got all of them, and I was listening. I'm like, man, these songs are dope. But then I started listening for like sample ideas, and that one jumped out. I was like, Jesus, this is. I made like three different beats off of that same song, but that so happened to be the one, that made its way to my man's hands, and man, he laced it, man. But I mean, with that beat, man, you know, he laced it. But man, I think a lot of people could lace that beat. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really, really, it kind of made itself. As long as I didn't try to get too fancy with it, I didn't want to do like a bunch of overproduction and add a whole lot of effects and everything. I just wanted to make sure the drums was tight and make sure that, I had my little mix ups in there to keep it from being too repetitive. And I think as long as I did that, I knew it was gonna be dope. Turned out dope. I knew he was gonna kill it because, normally when he is really feeling my beats, he'll hit me back immediately and say, man, I'm about to do something crazy with this. And there's been circumstances where like he's cooked up a verse like right then, like right after I sent him the beat. So, you know, I knew something good was coming out of that. And there's a
Yeah.
couple of songs on there that kind of was the same process as far as the beat went there, and then like maybe an hour later, at least a verse was created. Am I wrong?
No, you ain't wrong, bro. I be sitting at the crib sometimes listening to the beats, and I'm like, man, let me turn my computer on.
Man, but you see, that's the important part, like about sending the beats. And there's a lot of artists, for example, that I work with that they don't have a home setup. And when inspiration hits, man, you got to be able to, be ready to record. And I used to be at a mindset back in the day when I didn't have my own setup of, writing my verse before I get to the lab or get to the studio. But like it just don't hit the same when that inspiration ain't there, man. I mean, what's your thoughts or, how important do you think it is for a artist to have their own home studio to be able to create?
Man, I think it's very important, you know what I'm saying? Because like you were saying, you never know where inspiration is gonna hit. And I honestly like I've been to recording studios, and don't get me wrong, they're like it's fun to record there too, but it's no place like home. You know what I'm saying? Like at home, you're not in a rush. At home, like you can edit like one song for like hours, and no one's gonna be like, "All right, man, we gotta wrap it up. We gotta
Yeah,
do another
go.
song." You know what I'm saying? So it's just like home recording to me. It's like you're in your own zone, man. You create. I feel more creative at home than I do anywhere else. I mean, don't get me wrong. I write a lot when I'm on the train or whatever, but then when I get home, I record or sometimes Farouk sends me the beat right then and there, and I'm like, man, I'm thinking of a verse, and I got the time and day. I'm like, man, I'm just gonna pop up the microphone and hit record. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's very important for artists to have their own personal setup because I feel like there's no limit to creativity in your own setup. You know what I'm saying? You could do literally whatever you want. You could fuck up. You
Whatever.
could, you know what I'm saying? Like you could do a whole bunch of takes. No one's gonna judge you. You ain't gotta worry about nobody judging you. You know what I'm saying? Or anybody else being in the room hearing the same verse over and over again. Like you're just in your own creative space, and I feel like that's very important.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, there's pros and cons to going to a studio. We ain't gonna ever say don't go to a studio. Of course, you got engineers there, but I do know some people as well. They might have their home setup, they record their verses and they work with an engineer. They just email everything to mix down their sessions. And there's still there's still things that you have to make sure are straight with home in terms of the right environment, maybe, insulation, wherever you're recording,
Yeah, of
maybe
course.
like
Yeah.
a filter, things like that. But at the end of the day, you just want to make sure that you got a home setup to be able to put out ideas whenever whenever you have those ideas come up. Now, kind of switching gears. I noticed you guys actually, maybe about a little over a week ago, but y'all did a performance out there in Chicago.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Shout out to Mike Rice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, he hit Farouk actually organized this whole thing. We already knew Mike Rice beforehand, and yeah, man, yeah, it was we performed live on the stage inside the radio station, and I didn't know it was gonna be broadcasted live until that day. It was a call. Yeah, man. It was fun though. I felt like I was performing at a show, like, business as usual. And and yeah, man, it was definitely some, different to actually perform over a broadcast. I've never done that before. So yeah, that was cool.
Was that like
It
a
had a real clean sound to it too. Like when went back and listened to the MP3 of the show that he sent us, it sounded really clean. Prophet killed it, you know what I'm saying, on the bars. It's very natural. We kind of was not consistent, but we this was like what our third show. So I think we kind of are hitting a stride with the shows now, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, we definitely
I
got
think
chemistry, man.
yeah, it really turned out dope. And one of the songs in particular, when we did Cold World, like there was an extra visual that was shot by our guy there, Mike Rice, man, that really turned out really dope. Hopefully, something will come of that.
yeah, it looks like a very nice is that kind of like maybe like a talk show, or is it just kind of
Yep.
like an open mic? Okay, okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That they do that for artists out there, man. It's definitely I've been talking to you a lot about it coming out there to Chicago at some point. And man, just seeing the music scene. What's it like out there in terms of the music scene?
Man, it's very electric and vibrant, man. It's like it's a little bit of everything, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like I've been in it for a long time, maybe 10 years or whatever. And I've definitely done a lot of shows and met a lot of artists. And like the music scene, like I said, it's pretty vibrant, man. You're gonna find a little bit of everything, all types of hip hop, drill, boom bap. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously like the indie rock and what I'm saying, crazy ass bands. Remember that one time, Farouk, our first show, and they had that crazy band on there playing all, what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We thought
Yeah.
we thought they were tuning up their instruments, but that's what they were playing. That's the stuff they were actually
Yeah,
playing.
I was their songs.
But yeah, man, what's it called? Like the music scene out here is pretty good. Like a lot of people will probably say like, oh, it's cutthroat or whatever, but like you just gotta know who to rock with and who not to rock with. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Everybody got their own little inner circles or whatever, little cliques, but I feel like that's anywhere, you know what I'm saying? Not just here. So yeah, I mean, I feel like the music scene's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, similar to here, we have a lot of like open mics, and we got a lot of other uh whether you want to call them club owners or bar owners, whatever the case may be, that you can go and speak to and build a relationship with, and y'all might be able to split the door and things like that. But
Yeah, we got that.
that's kind of what we got going out here as well. And I haven't got out there in a while to perform, but with the upcoming music that not only Ruqone and myself got coming out, but just some other projects working on as well. I definitely want to get back out there and to Chicago soon. I've never been anywhere in the Midwest before, so definitely got to look forward to pulling up on y'all. And what other kind of like I know the album hasn't came out yet, but I know you talked about some visuals, but like Rook One yourself, what other projects do you have coming this year?
Oh man, well, you mentioned, different speed too. That's in the process of being created right now. A couple of nice things I've heard from you on that. So looking forward to that. Um, right now, also in the infant stages of a concept with with my man Rough Draft right now, where we're probably going to be enlisting both of you fellas, but also a couple of other people. What I'm saying, it's going to be like a because Ruff, you guys know him as an MC, but he also is pretty good on the beats too. So we're doing like a Oakland A's Bash Brothers collaboration album where we're gonna do like production and I might even get on the mic a couple times. And we're just gonna enlist different MCs that we know, what I'm saying, and just make a big old collab album. I actually got the idea was sparked from a conversation with the Prophet last week, what I'm saying? And we're gonna we spun that into this Bash Brothers thing. I sent him a song earlier to pass on to a couple of the folks that he knows that are MCs. So we're gonna see what comes of that. But like I said, it's in the infant stages right now. But you guys will definitely be involved in that in some capacity. So that I
No
got that,
doubt.
and also later on this year probably will be a I have my instrumental album series one by one. Where every year, once a year, I do 11 songs, one by one, 11 beats, and put that out, as a album. This year, I'm going to do that a little later. I did one by one, volume four, about this time around my birthday last April. So with everything going on now, the Prophet, and then me and your project, and then the other project I just mentioned, that probably won't be happening until like the fall, one by one, volume five. It'll probably be about the fall or maybe even the winter, early winter, like December or something.
One of the things that I've always liked that you done was the beat videos at the car shows.
Yeah, I've been getting some positive responses on that lately, man. I talked to the guy that runs that thing because I'm trying to get him to use those as like official videos for the auto show. And he was really liking it, but I think there's a bunch of red tape he has to get through. So I'm aiming for hopefully the project for the auto show next year. Man, that'll be big, if I can get that, you know what I'm saying? But he was really digging it as well. So hopefully, that's in the makings for me here soon too. But yeah, a lot of people, people at work, people I've been running into, like Mike Rice, who we were talking to last week, he was really digging it too. So, I'm happy about that.
And is that like, a passion that you had for cars, or did, you maybe just have the concept one day, going to a car show, just thinking about your music and how you could put two and two together? Like, when did you start coming up with that concept?
Well, the last year one was the first time I did it, but I didn't. I think the beats turned out good, but my camera work was not good at all because it was a bunch of the narrow
Oh
shots.
yeah,
So
yeah.
this year I dedicated myself to doing cinematic shots. So also I ran into a cat at the auto show. He's a part of the Illinois Camaro Club, and he like showed me adjustments I can do in the cinematic setting that really set off my videos even more that I took that day. So that really inspired me to make the beats a lot better than they were last year. Because like I said, I think they were pretty good last year, but I think this project blew that one out of the water personally. But so this was the second time this year. This was the second one. So I'm looking forward to it being even better next year. And like I said, I'm staying in the ear of the guy who's kind of in charge of this whole auto show thing because I want to do something official with them next year. To that. Hopefully that's going to happen. So
Yeah, man, I'd like to see, Ezekiel maybe do a video, about those cars or something, man. I think that would be
something
dope.
else I was talking about with him last week, part of that conversation was, those beats from this last auto show, tape, is getting one or maybe a bunch of MCs to rhyme on those. 'Cause it's like, I think, they would be good for songs. So, maybe that'll happen, some point this year too. So,
Yeah, yeah. Now, kind of going back to like the shows, Ezekiel, one of the things that, from doing shows a lot here in Dallas, um, has that, how has that benefited you in terms of whether it's growing your network or whether it is picking up new fans, getting people to discover your music? How has that helped you?
Um, a few months ago, was it like, yeah, I think a few months ago, I actually threw my own show, you know what I'm saying, with like opening acts and stuff, and I included myself in that list. And it was pretty successful, man, for my first time doing something like that. So for sure, like as far as like shows, it gives me an opportunity to like network, firsthand with people, and what I'm saying, especially people that I never met. And what's it called? Also selling merch, man. Like people really love to have like tangible music, you know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing like holding up a vinyl record or whatever, or a cassette or a CD, what have you. And like to me, like shows are really important to get my name out there and to get like the merch out there too. I mean, not I don't always like sell it too. I always like sometimes I give it out, you know what I'm saying? Just anything to get the person's ears and attention, you know. Um, so for sure, like yeah, shows are definitely important, you know what I'm saying, as an artist because you put yourself out there more. Not only that, it shows how professional you are as far as performing because as a rapper, you know what I'm saying, like you're an entertainer at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? So like if you're like you raw as hell on the microphone and raw as hell on the music and your SoundCloud or whatever like you got, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever the artists may have as, where they put their music out. But if you're whack on stage, nobody's gonna take you seriously, especially
Yeah.
if you want to be, especially if you're an artist that tends to take this seriously, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like doing shows is great practice. You find your rhythm, you find your cadence, you know what I'm saying? You find your audience eventually, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, like I encourage anybody to hit up open mics and to really try to network your way into getting some shows, you know what I'm saying? Doing some shows out there because that's definitely important, man. And yeah, it's definitely helped me become a better artist, become a better performer. I've been getting a lot of good feedback on my shows, like, yo, Ezekiel killed it. I can hear him clearly, you know what I'm saying? People respect the professionalism that goes with it, man. I'm always like there on time. I don't get drunk or anything. You know what I'm saying? I don't drink and stuff till like afterwards. I don't care how long I gotta
Yeah.
wait. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll take like a shot before I get on stage to ease the nerves or whatever. Cause I'm always nervous. That's I'm a human, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, I'm always keep it professional, man, because you never know who's gonna be on the audience, you know. Like I don't want to be all sloppy drunk trying to talk to
Man.
somebody who might have a paycheck for me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I never want to risk that, you know?
Man, you talked about like, you know, giving your best performance while you're on stage, and that's all part of it. I mean, I've seen people get so drunk they forget
Their
bars
words, yeah, they forget the
on
words.
stage. And having to cover up some people's bars while you're performing with them and shit. And yeah, I've had to do that as well. So
I've seen so many train wrecks, bro. You can't. I learned from those though. I learned from them. I was like, okay, remind me to never do this. You know what I'm saying?
man,
Like, yeah.
never. I,
Or they have like some collaboration and like they rap the person's verse with the
yeah,
person's
how did
verse in the
this turn to a
background
solo
already.
performance?
Right, yeah. It's like, man, if you have solo performance, make sure you have solo songs, unless you got your crew. And if they for some reason they don't make it, like have a contingency plan. Like, all right, if these guys don't make it, I'm going to perform this song. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man, it's so much stuff, so much effort that I put into doing shows, let alone the music that I tend to overthink things. I get overwhelmed sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But like at the end of the day, man, like I'm just trying to do what was best, like, to present myself out there. You know what I mean? Like I want people to have a face with the music, and I want people to have the personality with the music. Like just to meet me in person, like, oh, okay, man, yo, Ezekiel cool as hell, blah blah. He gave me a tape, you know what I'm saying? Like shows are definitely important, man.
First impression, and you never know who will be in that crowd that can present another opportunity to you, or maybe someone that can become a fan or that you work with as artist. Maybe it's another feature. There's been several people that I met here between Dallas and back home where I'm from in Louisiana that I had relationships with 10, 15 years of doing
Mm.
music till today, and that may not have happened if I would have never done some of these performances in the past. So, I definitely feel you on that. Now you mentioned earlier as well, you got the music video coming out.
Yeah.
the album itself coming out as well. Anything else you have planned along for 2024?
Yeah, man. I've had this album called Live from the Loop. I think I've mentioned it with you before, or like I've mentioned it several times before over the years. That's supposed to be like a prequel, no, a sequel to Redline Journals with my homeboy Penflo the Chemist. But you know, he was going through some things at the time and over the years. So like over the years we've had like I think like 8 songs recorded, you know what I'm saying? Intros and everything. And I feel like putting it out as an EP. So, you know, I suggest like my peoples be out on the lookout for me to finally drop Live from the Loop, you know what I'm saying? Entirely produced by my homie Pim Flow Chemist. Shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, like we're all actually on the works of polishing the vocals, polishing the beats, going back to like, you know what I'm saying, the stems and everything and putting them all together again so they could sound like a little fresher, a little newer. And I think, you know, obviously I have to re-record some things because like some of those lines are outdated. You know what I'm saying? I'm mentioning pandemics and shit. So yeah, I gotta re-record some of that stuff. And yeah, man, around the fall or hopefully like around late summer, Live from the Loop will be out with as well as merch and everything. That one's gonna be a more of a limited release, like 50 copies on the vinyl, you know what I'm saying? Maybe 20 tapes, you know, because like this one with this release, like you know, my wallet is a little hurting, you know what I mean? But I want to keep the momentum going as far as the merch and the music and yeah, Live from the Loop. That one should be, you know what I'm saying, heading towards people's ears this year.
Live from the loop. And definitely you and I gotta get down on something at some point, man.
Yeah, man,
You've
for
been on
sure,
the show
bro.
twice. We've been watching each other. We gotta get down on something.
Hell yeah.
Ruqone, we're gonna be talking about that soon. We're gonna get all
Oh
three of us.
man, I'm gonna be the facilitator of that because, like
I'm
I said,
down,
I
bro.
got already got some stuff in mind.
All
So I'm ready for that to happen.
Oh yeah. Another thing that I want to work on is you know, another third solo album, this time with like, you know, Farouk and Penflo, maybe another producer. And the way I want to do this is like I want to assign each of them a sample pack, you know, flip all the beats, flip all the samples in there. And from those, I'm gonna start choosing the beats and which one to rap on. You know what I'm saying? Like Penflo and Farouk, man, like they have two different styles, so it's gonna be like a challenge to kind of have make that cohesive. Like I want to think as Farouk as like a DJ Premier and Penflo the Chemist as a Jay Dilla. You know what I'm saying? Like two
Yeah,
amazing producers. You know what I mean? And trying to have that cohesiveness still, like that's gonna be a challenge. But I really want to do this, man. And you know what I'm saying? Hopefully, that'll be done by around this time next year. You know what I'm saying? Like I've definitely been trying to work my ass off and getting some releases of like and also elevating as a lyricist. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man. You know, I've been constantly having ideas and brainstorming and you know, constantly being creative and yeah, man. That
man,
that's what
just
it
keep it up, man. I really dug the North Star album. I thought that was really hot, and I think all the fans and people that discover your music gonna really like this joint. So,
I
um,
appreciate that,
Man,
man.
yeah,
Appreciate
appreciate
no
that.
it.
problem, no problem. What kind of shout outs do you guys have?
Man, shout out to Penfold the Chemist, shout out to Ruqone, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my Lady Chanel, you know what I mean? Shout out to everybody involved in North Star, Tales of Prince, Lukey Cage, Vic Spencer, Miss Outlaw, Trip, F Dot, you know what I'm saying? D Brash, my homie DJ Spree who did the cuts on the album. You know what I mean? Like shout out to Jasmine who she took the photos of me and Farouk's first show and the photos became the front and the back cover of the album and you know, for those who are gonna cop the CD and the physicals, I'm gonna have like collage, you know, I got like little collages and stuff in the booklet and you know what have you. So yeah, shout out to Jasmine for providing those visuals. And yeah, man, shout out to everybody listening and tuning in. And shout out to you, D Dot, you know what I'm saying, for having us on the show, man.
No doubt, no doubt. I appreciate you coming on. About your
Problem,
Rook
man.
one.
Man, I mean, I second everything my man the prophet just said, but also shouts to him, man. Like I said, once again, thanks for trusting me, you know what I'm saying? Because, as I say when we do these little things, he's a vet, you know what I'm saying, as far as like his exposure. So for him trusting me and believing in my sound, you know what I'm saying? So that's a big thing for me. So, mad props for that. Shouts to everybody that will be purchasing this and listening. And shouts to you, Dot. You know what I'm saying? Looking forward to our movement here with at a different speed too. Shouts to our mutual friend out there, and where's he at? Thailand somewhere, Calvin.
Oh, yeah,
You know what
shout
I'm
out to
saying?
Calvin. Shout out to
Oh
Calvin.
Yeah,
yeah, shout out to Calvin, man. Yeah.
me and him working on some stuff right now. We'd like to do the remix thing, so we kind of got something like that going. We did a Black Album remix. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, folks will be digging that. But yeah, just shouts to people that love hip hop, man. You know, even whatever kind of hip hop you like. Even if some people might think it's whack, some people whatever. As long as you are trying to move hip hop forward, shout out to you.
Yeah,
Hell
man.
yeah,
I
man.
gotta
Hell
give
yeah.
you your flowers too, man. It's like, just being a, I guess, contemporary in the, same thing as far as being a producer and just seeing your work ethic, how you going from myself to Ezekiel to Calvin. And I know you got other things, aside from that as well that you're probably working on with that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's a really good thing to see, how you putting out all this music. And it's just kind of like you were saying earlier in the show that everybody's got their own vibe with it. Ezekiel got his sound, I got my sound, and you just find a way to continue going, man. So I just want to give you your flowers for that, man. You've been kind of doing that nonstop.
Oh man, thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. Also, man, I forgot I got some R&B stuff I'm working on. I got another friend down in Texas. He's in Houston. My friend Andy, you know what I'm saying? We're working on we got a concept R&B album.
Okay.
It's kind of a concept, but it's pretty much like it's gonna be a 5 minute album, if that makes any sense. It's not gonna be
IUP.
one song, it's gonna be 5 songs, 5 minutes to all together. So like snippets. So we're like in the middle of doing that now.
Man,
Because all these short attention spans right now, you know what I'm saying? So we aiming for that group. But the
all
people
right,
that,
all right.
just want to hear like little pieces of things and keep it moving on to the next hot thing.
What you making your beats on now?
Oh man, now I'm pretty much complete control keyboard S49. I'm doing that with my MacBook. I still got my little machine micro over here.
Okay.
But
All
that's
right.
pretty much it. I'm going machine hardware with Ableton software, man.
Okay.
That's pretty much what it is. Now I finally settled on a setup because I had like way too much equipment and I got rid of some stuff, traded it in for like microphone stands and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's how I'm moving right now.
Man,
Yeah.
that's another thing about having your own setup, man. It's really fun going shopping for those things, man. It really
Man, ain't it
Yeah.
though?
I gotta tell myself stop sometimes.
Man, for real, bro. I'll be a Guitar Center like a kid in a candy store, bro. Like, don't
Man,
put me in there.
man, it's so hard to not want to get like MPC got the new keyboard that they have, the 37 key thing that's a standalone. Like
Mm.
I want it, but it's like, man, I got all this other stuff and it works great. I hate clutter, so I'm just gonna be like, man, it looks nice, but I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah, Yamaha got this Seek track that I want to get. It's like 300, and that might be the next piece of gear that I get. But we'll see. I haven't bought any gear in a while, and it's something that I've been seeing a lot of people use online. But again, we'll see. Where can our listeners follow you at online?
You can follow me at Ezekiel the Prophet on Instagram. Ezekiel the Prophet on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Twitter at Zeke the Prophet. I'm barely on Twitter. I'm mostly active on Instagram. You know what I mean? You could also follow my record label at North Star Society. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the works. I'm trying to create new content for that. And yeah, man, Apple, you know what I'm saying, Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify, all of that, Ezekiel the Prophet, you know what I'm saying? Just type my name in. I'm sure the rest will follow.
Man,
Ruqone?
also, yeah, on Bandcamp, man, you can
Oh,
find me.
Bandcamp. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bandcamp
definitely
too.
don't forget that. But yeah, Bandcamp, I'm Ruqone, Ruqone. Also, on Instagram, you're gonna find me there as well as all the streaming platforms. on TikTok, trying to be more active on that until they shut it down. But that's Ruqone Beats on TikTok, you know what I'm saying? With what I do there, that's a little different. Is you might get a little bit, you might see like the process of me, how I'm gonna get all my samples organized and then the finished project for a beat. So I throw stuff like that up there every now and then on TikTok only though.
Go ahead and hit Ruqone and Ezekiel the Prophet with a follow and check out their new North Star album coming out April 26th.
April
Yep.
26th, my
April
friend.
26th on all streaming platforms and
I'll send you a
Bandcamp.
copy.
Oh yeah, most def, most def. You can follow me on Instagram at d._major music. Same thing on TikTok, and if you use Threads, also same thing. On Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, follow me at d.mme. And if you like this episode, please hit the subscribe button as well. And same thing, no matter what podcast platform you are, hit me with 5 stars, rate, comment. It really helps the show. I appreciate everybody that supports. And I also appreciate Ruqone and Ezekiel the Prophet for coming on this evening to talk about their new North Star project. And this has been another episode of the Major Music Lounge. It's D. Ezekiel the Prophet and Ruqone, and we are out.
Major Music.